It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update. As an AEW star criticizes WWE, a released WWE superstar signs his first post-WWE deal, and The Rock responds to Joe Rogan's comments on professional wrestling. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... Last week, WWE let 14 more wrestlers go from the company in what is a seemingly non-stop stream of releases over the past year. One of those names was Tyler Breeze, who took to Twitch to discuss his WWE release as well as his future plans. He discussed the length of his tenure with WWE, where he wrestled for 11 years, whether that be in their developmental system or on the main roster. He said, "I was with the company for 11 years. An 11-year run in the biggest wrestling company in the world is unheard of. It's a huge thing. Most people are there for 3 or 4 years. The fact that I was there for 11, fantastic. More than I could ask for." Breeze is seemingly grateful for his time with WWE, and obviously by his comments was there a lot longer than he thought he'd be. Breeze then went on to talk about his post-WWE life and confirmed that he will be turning to streaming on Twitch whilst he works out what he wants to do. He also hinted at leaving the wrestling business and said, "I'll be streaming and we have a lot of stuff to figure out. A lot of stuff is still in the works. Yes, I'm setting up my Cameo again. I'm just waiting for them to approve it. There's a lot of stuff in the air that we're slowly figuring out. You guys will kinda know as I know. We're trying to figure out a lot of stuff. Will I continue my wrestling career? I don't know. We'll have to see. I haven't decided yet." Now, with that said, let's hope we see Tyler Breeze in one form or another in a wrestling ring again. And if you are interested in watching his streams, his channel is called The Sweets Live over on Twitch, which was originally founded by Breeze, Sean Spears, who at the time was in WWE as Ty Dillinger, and Baron Corbin, who is of course still with WWE to this day. Corbin's time with the channel is up after WWE's new policy on third-party activity, but Breeze could once again be joined by Spears at some point in the future. Breeze and Spears both run a wrestling school in Florida named Flatbacks, which leads many to think that he could be all elite at some point in the future, but after his recent comments, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what he decides to do. On AEW Dynamite this past Saturday, Ethan Page defeated Bear Bronson in singles action. Page, who has been in an ongoing feud with Darby Allin over the past few weeks, took to the mic and told the audience that he wants to put the final nail in Allin's coffin. This is of course a reference to Darby's finishing move, the coffin drop. He then went on to challenge Darby to a coffin match for the July 7th edition of Dynamite, which will be the Road Rager special. Road Rager will be AEW's first show outside of Daily's Place for a long time, which has been the promotion's home for the majority of the pandemic. The coffin match is expected to be similar, if not identical, to the Undertaker's trademark Casket Match that debuted in 1992 at the Survivor Series. The 90s saw 11 casket matches up until 1999, with WWE holding 8 since then. It seems that Darby has not only taken the body bag match as his own, but looks to be making the coffin match one of his recurring matches too. So who do you think will come out on top in the coffin match between Darby Allin and Ethan Page? Let me know in the comments down below. Elsewhere on Dynamite, Kenny Omega retained his AEW World title when he defeated Jungle Boy in the main event. After the match, there was some shenanigans with Kenny Omega about to hit Jungle Boy with his title, but was then saved by Christian Cage. Then Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Young Bucks all got involved, taking out Cage and Jungle Boy. Omega and his friends celebrated as Dynamite came to an end, but this wasn't the end of the night for the fans in attendance. Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero M chased off the pack of heels with steel chairs, which led to Kingston cutting a promo to send the fans home happy. During the promo, he had some words for AEW's competition, referring to WWE, and said, "That's what I'm talking about, because the competition sometimes doesn't want to hear their fans. Oh, I guess I'm burning another bridge. Surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW cares about their fans, because we are not here just to get ourselves a paycheck. We're here every week with you people, without you people, and we come here and we bust our asses. We love professional wrestling." You saw a match between Kenny Omega and my dude Jungle Boy that you will not see on the other channel. You will not see legends who are respected on the other channel. You will not see people like me and my best friend Penta on the other channel. You will not see the heart that everybody in that locker room has on the other channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I was supposed to send you home happy, but I'm speaking from the heart. The bottom line is this: we are AEW, we will see you Wednesday, and we want to hear you. Of course, I'm not quite as good at cutting that promo as Eddie Kingston was, but you get the general vibe, and I would of course play you the footage if I wasn't going to get striked. Kingston and Penta are now set to battle the Young Bucks in a non-title match this Wednesday on Dynamite, which is the first Wednesday night Dynamite in many weeks, following their move to Friday and Saturdays due to TNT's airing of the NBA playoffs. And quickly before we continue, if you're enjoying the video so far, why not give it a like, as it helps me continue to grow the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming wrestling content. And now that you've done that, let's get on with the rest of the video. Recently released WWE superstar Aleister Black has recently announced a brand new deal which seems to suggest that he has no desire to rejoin WWE should the opportunity present itself. Black, who has now reverted to his former name Tommy End, posted to Twitter, "Only have so many characters that I can type, but as of today, I am officially sponsored by Hayabusa Combat," which ironically was the name of one of my favourite wrestlers growing up. More to come, as I will give some cool stuff away for you hip kids that hit bags and pads. As we've discussed in previous videos, various figures within WWE were pushing for the promotion to re-sign Black after his release on June 2nd, but this announcement seems to rule that out. As we know, WWE would never allow such a deal to take place, and I mean, you can't even stream on Twitch these days when under contract. Whilst this isn't confirmed, this kind of gives me the idea that Tommy End will have some sort of MMA gear when he comes back, with sponsorships on the shorts. I'm not too sure though, that would seem to make sense. As we've mentioned in the past, according to Dave Meltzer, Tommy End is set to join All Elite Wrestling, with there being a quote strong belief that they will link up when End's 90-day non-compete clause expires on August 31st. And finally, popular podcast host Joe Rogan has been openly critical of the pro wrestling business in the past. Rogan, who is a commentator for the UFC, often compares MMA to wrestling, preferring the former due to it being, quote, real. Now, I like Joe Rogan, but one thing I've always disagreed with him on is his disregard for professional wrestling, with him often missing the point on why people like it. He has stated in the past that wrestling is for, quote, strange guys that pretend they don't know it's fake. Anyone that watches this video knows how silly this is, and just like any other TV show, whether it be Game of Thrones or Stranger Things, in order to get into it, you suspend your disbelief, and pro wrestling is no different. A lot of wrestling fans go as far as to follow the inner workings of the shows, which many people find more interesting than the show itself, which is why people watch videos like this one. For years, the top promotions have produced interviews and documentaries discussing the behind-the-scenes aspects of the business, and wrestling stopped pretending to be real decades ago at this point. Rogan now seems to be slowly but surely seeing the light, starting last May when he acknowledged the work wrestlers put in every year. His admiration for the genre seems to be growing even more after the recent WWE A&E collaboration, which saw the network produce a number of documentaries, which led to Rogan posting to Instagram, "These WWE documentaries on A&E right now are really well done. Maybe I'm really high, but I think I am now beginning to truly understand pro wrestling." In reply to this post, the biggest star to come out of the business, The Rock, seemingly offered to be a guest on Joe Rogan's popular podcast, offering to talk wrestling and, amongst other things, and said, "At one time, it was the best job in the world. One day we'll get drunk or high and talk about it, or talk about it first, then get effed up." Joe Rogan is a very influential online figure, and perhaps his mind shift on wrestling could help draw in some MMA fans, or some of the millions that stopped watching back in 2002. And could Joe Rogan set to follow Jimmy Smith, his former UFC colleague, and join WWE? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and probably not going to happen. And if you're interested in more videos from me, make sure you check out my Jon Moxley documentary where I chronicle his AEW World Championship reign.